Did you know that the United States sent a Venezuelan man with only one lung to the Sikhat Republican concentration camp in El Salvador? And it gets even worse, because that man had just undergone surgery to remove his lung 2 months prior to being sent to Sikhat. This is 33-year-old Vladimir Vera Villamizar. He is a welder from Venezuela. At one point in his life, he suffered from tuberculosis, which left him with severe scarring on his right lung. He sought asylum in the United States in 2024 and was held in detention. During that time, his condition worsened significantly. Vladimir was released from detention in January 2025 with an ankle monitor. He was rushed to the ER and underwent emergency removal of his right lung. This is an incredibly rare surgery, something that surgeons only see about once a year. Just 2 weeks after his surgery, ICE detained him again, and ultimately he was deported to Sikhat along with 239 other men on March 15th. The DHS Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs claims that he was in good health at the time of deportation. This is a flat-out lie. There is a roughly 6-month recovery period after the removal of a lung, and during that period of time, the patient is incredibly fragile. The remaining lung has to retrain itself to provide oxygen for the body. During this period of time, the heart is also under significant strain. The recovery period is typically managed intensively by a medical team, which provides medications and rehabilitation. Patients are supposed to avoid crowded areas due to the infection risk. Even on a long-term basis, there is an increased risk of respiratory illness, as well as hypoxia, particularly under physical or emotional stress. Even within the U.S. prison system, a prisoner with just one lung would be entitled to medical accommodations. It should be pointed out that, to the best of our knowledge, no medical care is provided at Sikhat. Bukele claims that there is an infirmary, but all information from international observers indicates that prisoners have died of medical neglect from conditions as basic as asthma. Sikhat is notoriously overcrowded. There is a lack of ventilation and sunlight. The prisoners are subject to prolonged physical inactivity and extreme heat conditions. All of this puts Vladimir at enormous risk. This may well be a violation of international law, and specifically a violation of the Convention Against Torture. Now, I know that MAGA will say they don't care, and it doesn't matter, because Vladimir did actually serve a 7-year prison sentence in Venezuela for homicide. His mother has stated that he was sentenced over false allegations. That may or may not be true. Venezuela's government is incredibly corrupt, and it is certainly possible that he faced false allegations. He has not been accused of any crimes in the United States, however. Regardless of whether or not Vladimir has committed crimes in the past, he is still entitled to due process, and he still is entitled to basic medical care. He is a human being, and this is not a man who should be housed in Sikhat. It is a direct danger to his life. And of course, his family has had no contact with him whatsoever, because no one in Sikhat is allowed any contact with the outside world. Vladimir has now been in this Republican concentration camp for 105 days. This is what our country has become.